Welcome. Pull up a chair and grab a project, and join me for Storytime&Crafts. My craft today is Diamond Art Club's Jack-o'-lantern times. My tools that I am using are also from Diamond Art Club, except for my boat, which I don't remember where it's from at this time. If I figure it out, you'll find that in the description box. And the book we will be reading and discussing is Trials of Apollo, Book 1. So let me grab a color here and let's get started. The Trials of Apollo, Book 1, The Hidden Oracle. Chapter 1. Hoolums punching my face. I would smite them if I could. Mortality blows. My name is Apollo. I used to be a god. In my 4,612 years, I have done many things. I inflicted a plague on the Greeks who besieged Troy. I blessed Baby Ruth with 3 home runs in Game 4 of the 1926 World Series. I visited my wrath upon Britney Spears at the 2007 MTV Video Music Awards. But in all my immortal life, I never before crash-landed in a dumpster. I'm not even sure how it happened. I simply woke up falling, skyscrapers swirling in and out of view, flames streaming off my body. I tried to fly. I tried to change into a cloud, or teleport across the world, or do 100 other things that should have been easy for me, but I just kept falling. I plummeted into a narrow canyon between 2 buildings and blam! Is something sadder than the sound of a god hitting a pile of garbage bags? I lay groaning and aching in the open dumpster. My nostrils burned with the stench of rancid bologna and used diapers. My ribs felt broken, though that shouldn't have been possible. My mind strewn in confusion, but one memory flooded to the surface, the voice of my father Zeus. Your fault. Your punishment. I realized what had happened to me, and I sobbed in despair. Even for a god of poetry such as myself, it is difficult to describe how I felt. How could you, a mere mortal, possibly understand? Imagine being stripped of your clothes, then blasted with a fire hose in front of a laughing crowd. Imagine the ice water filling your mouth and lungs, the pressure bruising your skin, turning your joints to putty. Imagine feeling hopeless, ashamed, and completely vulnerable, publicly and brutally stripped of everything that makes you, well, you. My humiliation was worse than that. Your fault. Zeus's voice rang in my head. No, I cried miserably. No, wasn't. Please. Nobody answered. On either side of me, rust fire escapes zigzagged up brick walls. Above, the winter sky was gray and unforgiving. I tried to remember the details of my sentence. Had my father told me how long this punishment would last? What was I supposed to do to regain his favor? My memory was too fuzzy. I could barely recall what Zeus looked like, much less why he decided to toss me to earth. There'd been a war with the giants, I thought. The gods had been caught off guard, embarrassed, almost defeated. The only thing I knew for certain, my punishment was unfair. Zeus needed someone to blame. So Of course, he'd picked the handsomest, most talented, and most popular god in the pantheon, me. I lay in the garbage, staring at the lid under the staring the inside of the dumpster lid. For pickup, call 1-555 Stinky. Zeus will reconsider, I told myself. He's just trying to scare me. Any moment he will yank me back to Olympus and let me off with a warning. Yes, my voice sounded hollow and distant. Yes, that's it. I tried to move. I wanted to be on my feet when Zeus came to apologize. My ribs throbbed, my stomach clenched, clawed the rim of the dumpster, and managed to drag myself out over the side. I toppled out and landed on my shoulder. There was a cracking sound against the asphalt. Ugh. I whimpered with the pain. Stand up, stand up. Getting to my feet was not easy. My head spun. I almost passed out from the effort. I stood in the dead-end alley, but 50 feet away, the only exit opened onto a street with grim storefronts for a bail bondsman's office and a pawn shop. I was somewhere on the west side of Manhattan, I guess, or perhaps Crown's Hill in Brooklyn. Zeus must have been really angry with me. I inspected my new body. I appeared to be a teenage Caucasian male, clad in sneakers, blue jeans, and a green polo shirt. How utterly dapper. I felt sick, weak, and so human. I will never understand how you mortals tolerate it. You live your entire lives trapped in a sack of meat, unable to enjoy simple pleasures like changing into a hummingbird or dissolving into pure light. And now, heaven help me, I was one of you, just another meat sack. I fumbled through my pants pockets, hoping I still had a key to my sun chariot. No such luck. I found a cheap neon wallet containing $100 of American currency, lunch money for my first day as an immortal, perhaps, along with a New York State junior's driver's license, featuring a photo of a dork, curly-haired teen who could not possibly be me, with the name of Lester Papadopoulos. The cruelty of Zeus could know no bounds. I peered into the dumpster, hoping my bow, quiver, and lie might have fallen to earth with me. I could have settled for my harmonica. There was nothing. I took a deep breath. Cheer up, I told myself. I must have retained some of my godly abilities. Matters could get worse. I took a deep breath. Cheer up, I told myself. I must have retained some of my godly abilities. Matters could get worse. A raspy voice called, Hey, Chad, take a look at this loser. Blocking the alley's exit was two young men, one squatty and platinum blonde, the other tall and red-headed. Both wore oversized hoodies and baggy pants. Serpentine tattoos designed covered their necks. All they were missing were the words, I'm a thug, printed in large letters across their foreheads. The redhead zoned in on the wallet in my hands. Now, be nice, Mikey. This guy looks friendly enough. He grinned and pulled a hunting knife from his belt. In fact, I bet he wants to give us all his money. I blamed my disorientation for what happened next. I knew my immortality had been stripped away, but I still considered myself the mighty Apollo. One could not change one's way of thinking as easily as one might, say, turn into a snow leopard. Also, on my previous occasions when Zeus had punished me by making me mortal, yes, it has happened twice before, I had retained massive strength and at least some of my godly powers. I assumed same would be true now. I was not going to allow two young mortal ruffians to take Lester Papadoodle's wallet. I stood up straight, hoping Cad and Mikey would be intimidated by my regular peering and divine beauty. Surely those qualities would not be taken from me, no matter what the driver's license photo looked like. I ignored the warm dumpster juice trickling down my neck. I am Apollo, I announced. You mortals have three choices. Offer me tribute, flee, or be destroyed. I wanted my words to echo through the alley, shaking the towers of New York and causing the sky to rain smoky ruin. None of that happened. On the word destroy, my voice squeaked. The red-headed cad grinned even wider. I thought how amusing it would be if I could make the snake tattoos around his neck come alive and strangle him to death. What do you think, Mikey? He asked his friend. Should we give this guy tribute? Mikey scowled. With his blistering blonde hair, his cruel small eyes, and thick frame, he reminded me of monsters so that terrorized the village of Croman back in the good old days. Not feeling the tribute, Cad. His voice sounded like he had been eating lit cigarettes. What were the other options? Flee, said Cad. Nah, said Mikey. Being destroyed? Mikey snarled. How about we destroy him? Cad flipped his knife and caught it by the handle. I can live with that. After you. I slipped the wallet into my back pocket. I raised my fists. I could not take the idea of flattening immortals into fleshy waffles, but I was sure I could do it. Even in my weakened state, I would be far stronger than any human. I warned you, I said. Power are far beyond your comprehension. Mike cracked his knuckles. Uh-huh. He lumbered forward. As soon as he was in range, I struck. I put all my wrath into my punch. I should have been enough to vaporize Mike and leave a thug-shaped impression on the asphalt. Instead, he ducked, which I found quite annoying. I stumbled forward. I have to say that when Prometheus fashioned humans out of clay, he did a shabby job. Mortal legs are clumsy. Tried to compensate, drawing upon my boundless reserves of agility, but Mikey kicked me in the back. I fell on my divine face. My nostrils flattened into airbags. My ears popped. The taste of copper filled my mouth. I rolled over, groaning, and found the two blurry thugs staring down at me. Mikey, said Cad, are you comprehending this guy's power? Nah, said Mikey. I'm not comprehending it. Fools, I choked. I will destroy you. Yeah, sure. Cad tossed away his knife. But first I think we'll stomp you. Cad raised his boot over my face, and the world went black. Wow. Can't wait to find out how Apollo's going to get out of that one. So he's been, from what I just read, he's been mortal twice before. So how about this? In the comments, let me know if you've heard any of these books or read any of either the Percy Jackson books or anybody from this particular author. I'd love to find out. And honesty, for me, this is technically my first book. From the sounds of it, I am missing a lot. I'll have to go back and read some of the others.